Let us talk about kinds of functions. So we are considering one-to-one functions and onto functions in this video. So let's say we have a function like this. We have A here, we have B here, we have C here. We have 1, 2, 3 here. A goes to 3, B goes to 2, C goes to 1. This is a one-to-one function because each element in the domain has different elements in the range. But look at something like this. Something like this. We have A, we have B, we have C here. We have 1 here, we have 2 here. Then we have A going to 1, B going to 2, and C going to any of them. Will make it not a one-to-one, not to be a one-to-one function because B and C are mapping onto 2. So each of them must map onto different elements like this for it to be a one-to-one function. Mathematically, we say that if f is such that x maps onto y, if it is a one-to-one function, then so if this function is a one-to-one function, then f of x will be equal to f of y, and this implies that x is equal to y. So if you get this conclusion from this, then the function is a one-to-one function. Let's take an example. So we have to show whether or not f is such that x maps onto 1 over x plus 3, where x is not equal to negative 3, is one-to-one function. So if this function is one-to-one, then f of x should be equal to f of y, and this implies that x is equal to y. So if you get this conclusion, then it means it is a one-to-one function. So f of x, it means wherever you see x, put x, and that will give us 1 over x plus 3. So some will use f of a equal f of b. So you put a wherever you see x, and you put b wherever you see x. Now f of y, wherever I see x, I'll put y there. So it will be 1 over y plus 3. So we can solve this to see whether we get this result. So let's cross multiply. X plus 3 will times 1, and y plus 3 will times 1. So 1 times y plus 3 will be y plus 3. Then 1 times x plus 3 will be x plus 3. Now we have y to be equal to x plus 3 minus 3. So we can see that y is actually equal to x, or we can see x is equal to y. Therefore, the function f is a one-to-one function. We have another example here. G is such that x maps onto 1 over x squared plus 4. So let's see whether it is one-to-one or not. So if it is one-to-one, then g of x should be equal to g of y. So we have 1 over x squared plus 4 is equal to 1 over y squared plus 4. Now let's cross multiply. 1 times this will give you y squared plus 4 is equal to 1 times this will give you x squared plus 4 times 1 will give you x squared plus 4. So we get y squared is equal to x squared, or x squared is equal to y squared. Now we take square root of both sides. So x will be equal to plus or minus square root of y squared. So x is equal to either positive or negative y. Therefore, the function is not one-to-one, since g of x equal g of y does not imply that x is equal to y. So we are getting two values for y, hence it is not a one-to-one function. Now let's discuss onto functions. A function f is such that x maps onto y is said to be an onto function if and only if the function is equal to its codomain. It means that every member in the domain has an element in the codomain. So like we saw earlier, A, B, C. Then we have, let's say, 1, 2, 3. This goes to this goes to that, this goes to that. So this is an onto function. But if let's say there's something here that is not having an element here, or let's say we have a number here that is not having an element here in the codomain, then it is not an onto function. Now let's take an example. We have an example here. Show that h is such that n maps onto n, given by h of x equal 3x is not an onto function. Now, if we are dealing with the natural numbers, we don't have a number that will map onto this. So let's say we have 3x is equal to 1, and x will be equal to 1 over 3. Now 1 over 3 cannot belong to the set of natural numbers. So there will be an element here that does not have any number to map on in the domain. Therefore, h of x equal 3x is not an onto function. But if we should change this to the real numbers, then that is true. 1 over 3 will map onto 1. Or let's pick another number. Let's say 7 equal 3x. Then x will be equal to 7 over 3. Because we are dealing with the real numbers, 7 over 3 will map onto 7. So now we've seen what one-to-one function is, and we're able to determine whether a function is one-to-one or not. And we're also able to determine whether a function is an onto function or not. Now try the following. Determine whether or not this is a one-to-one function. Then you can check the solution in the video entitled Solution to Trial Questions in this playlist. See you in the next video, Inverse Functions.